Hey guys, I'm here to get into perhaps one of my all-time favorite films growing up, and now to this day, it holds up even better with age. It's School of Rock by Richard Linklater. And Richard Linklater, I didn't even know who he was whenever I first saw this film. And this film literally introduced me to the world and scene of rock in a very unique, specialized kind of way that feels definitively out of the 2000s. And by this sense, Richard Linklater wanted to make a film that literally the family could see because his kids were growing up a little bit enough to really where they could appreciate film too. So he wanted to make a film his kids could just 100% enjoy. And by way of doing that, I feel like this is the most successful I've ever seen at creating a film that's for everybody, really. Because, on my end, this film almost portrays something that seems like because I feel honestly, I can relate a lot to Jack Black's character because he's a lot like Jack Torrance in The Shining, but kind of walking around in a more social kind of way, kind of awkward, kind of like getting in the situation. But this whole situation is about as awkward as it gets, but the way it plays out is so smooth and beautiful and fun and actually good spirited, free spirited. Like literally, it's just this awkward story of Jack Black's character needs money, so he becomes a substitute teacher, and he ends up just dropping everything that the kids are going over at a private school into just the fundamentals of rock and roll and how it ends up positively influencing your lives, which literally happened to me too growing up. So to this day, so it's awkward and true how this film kind of just holds up as a perfect masterpiece to me, about as important to me as a film like Andre Ruffalo. It's kind of funny how that happens, but it's even ends of the spectrum. But this was an equally perfect film with directing that honestly feels like Richard Linklater, because his favorite director is Martin Scorsese, and it feels funny because Richard Linklater films are nothing like the tone of Martin Scorsese. But I think he's literally like a friendly take on a lot of the Scorsese's work. But I think Richard Linklater is onto just literally fascinating in a similar kind of way, where it's just like kind of looking at the world in your own kind of way and simplifying. Richard Linklater was certainly a man of simplicity. I mean, the way this is directed, there's like all these long takes, like 6 minutes long, and just Jack Black playing in the room, and I'm endlessly just engulfed by the scenes and how the kids are just taking in this eccentric, strange man. Literally, that's what it feels like. And when I was a kid, I remember just having fantasies every single day about how much I love, love a teacher to come around and do this to me. And I ended up kind of finding that for, I guess, myself in the end. This film certainly kind of laid this foundation of kind of Americana spirit of rock and roll, modern sense. This is like very, very true, like in the way it expresses all that. This is literally Jack Black's best performance. I absolutely think he's as good here as something like Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I know that's a little more like a powerful kind of feel. This is more smooth and laid back, but this equally portrays an equally perfect foundation of an eccentric man coming in, and he ends up changing a lot of lives significantly for the better. But it feels awkward how it gets there. But once it lays out, it's something kind of awesome ends up happening, and he ends up smoothing over all these people. And this is literally, it feels like just a true film in a lot of ways. I remember literally October 10th, 2003. I'll never forget this day when I first saw this film. It's literally did something to my spirit, I think. Like, Richard Linklater films have that power. I mean, significant. And this is a really special one. I mean, because again, this just makes you lighten up about everything, honestly. I don't know. This movie really just feels like about the most lighthearted thing on the planet. Like, you just have this guy, again, you kind of love this guy, honestly, because he's like in all these situations where it's like, and literally, I think I resonate so much that it's like, okay, honestly, if I were in this kind of situation, literally the way I am right now, yeah, if I were a teacher, it would it would turn into something like this. I think, like, for real now. So it's like, to look at this is just really beautiful, and kind of because it actually portrays it correctly. How a man wants to impact literally kids' lives without it being uncomfortable with a teacher, like a proper teacher, effective. Actually get stuff done, but you do it's about the most eccentric way possible. You're literally, and it's a comedy, 100%. That's the thing. But at the end of the day, I know I'm very serious, but I don't take life that seriously. I want to make that clear, so clear. Um, and just intense moments because they all are nothing in the end. As the films of Paul Thomas Anderson, Richard Linklater is a lighter shade of Paul Thomas Anderson. He's just like Americana spirited, just helping people out for the better in your community, serving your community. Because that's the thing, no matter what, like, it involves all ages, like it really does. And to appeal to all ages, it does require a certain kind of leadership. And this is a weird kind of way of, this guy's like an anti-leader, literally. That's kind of a lot of the 2000s right there. It's anti-leader. A lot of the tone just feels loud in the sense of like, dude, just quit what all you're doing, because it's like he's talking nihilism to the kids basically, and they end up finding it better. It's gone off crazy. Yeah, I mean, this is just, this is a film. I don't know how many times I've seen it. It's certainly a lot. It feels like it's just better with age. Every single I'm just stunned by the amount of just warmth living in this entire film. Richard Linklater is a genius of warmth, and I think I come back to this knowing Richard Linklater films now. It's like, oh, okay, he was building up to this. It feels like in the '90s, a lot of those films were very youthful in spirited tone, although he's perfectly mature at expressing almost a certain kind of immaturity in the era, feels like, in a perfect way. And it feels like when the 2000s came around, a great sense of maturity hit Richard Linklater. He got really experimental in 2001, and then it kind of moved on to just more in the heart. Like, he gets more and more in the heart. In the 2010s, he gets even more in the heart. I mean, that dude's... And Richard Linklater is an intimidatingly great director, I think. Like, he's actually a genius, I think. This is really as great. I think, there are films that came around like Dead Poet Society. That's a pretty good one. Good Will Hunting. I think this makes it better because I think that formula works better when it's funny. Kind of like that good-hearted Americana spirit of just, like, man inspiring people. But I think this is better in a really awkward kind of place. Like, again, like, moments where, like, and I think this is where I can relate. Like, yeah, sometimes you feel like a loser doing all this, And I think that kind of comes into just you need to build something for yourself, and the way you build it is literally you need to help other people. That's kind of it. Like, within your perfectionism, don't forget to be a good human, kind of. And I think that's where a lot of the roadblock can kind of come into. The too much perfectionism, too much cold means maybe you're sensing not enough giving to others, in a sense. I certainly hit that in. That makes sense. But yeah, that's the School of Rock. I mean, this is perfect, and it feels like the cinematography here is really unique. The way that it captures all this, the pacing of it, feels really funny without feeling dramatic whatsoever, but it hits an equally perfect spirit as a drama would. That's what's so cool about it, but it doesn't even do it. It's 100% goofy the entire way through. But again, it's almost just like so perfect in the way Richard Linklater captures something for all ages. Like, I've grown a little tired of most, like, not every single Pixar film. I still admire Pixar greatly; they're wonderful. But School of Rock is a film that takes me here much better, as well as a lot of comedies of the 2000s, like Anchorman. I think they really nail this tone of just like 100% goofy. Just let it all out and be goofy the entire way through. But there's like a real like. I don't know, but this kind of has the heart of warmth, though. I just walk out with just feeling a complete depth of experience, and I just feel like it almost kind of just goes past this, almost just toxic masculinity. Just go ahead and being weird as opposed to just seeming strong all the time, but ultimately, it's nice whenever enough people can grasp what you're saying, and then literally if something positive comes out of it all in the end, and it's like there's nothing mean going on here whatsoever. It's literally just this. I mean, that's what it can kind of apply to anything outside of arts, outside of music. It's like, I think this is a great foundation of teaching in a lot of ways and helping others. It's like to make sure as a leader, you literally like have a good spirit. You literally are moving things forward in a way that is benefiting everybody that's involved. It's like, don't forget anybody that you meet along the way. Don't forget the little things, and it's hard to do that, literally. So it's like it's really important to like instill that in the children, particularly. I believe. So that's the thing. And the reason I say like don't get too close is because I think I relate to a lot to Jack. Like, and perhaps maybe a lot of what we're seeing in the earlier moments are not the best leaders. So I think I can relate a lot to that also. So I believe that's why I have a lot of openness. I can easily say like, I feel like it's almost like I think that's how a lot of like art of the '60s moving onward really is. It's like it feels like there's a lot to offer there, but a lot of it can just feel too insane. Like it's almost just too like nihilistic. I think for all ages to, I think effectively need to take it. I think it needs to be a more positive atmosphere ultimately. So I think there's like a place there that like needs to chill. I think this film just perfectly captures what that place is. It's really, really cool. It even has a sense of humor about like awkward situations. It's just like when the parents come around, he literally like has this intensely awkward monologue, and it just gets even better the way everyone reacts. So this is a perfect film at lightening up, and it just does have the sincere like passion of rock living inside of it. As all Richard Linklater films end up coming back to the foundation of rock and roll is pretty awesome, and the way that it impacts a lot of Americana energy is really timeless. So yeah, and that's I think the end message of this film to me is just it's not important to be the coolest rock star. It's important to leave a positive influence ultimately on other people. And that's like the foundation right there. Like I think it comes down to that. Don't be the coolest. Be make sure the impact is being made and moving something forward that will impact society for the better. Whether it's through music, and I find that through music and filmmaking, but I hope to spread that foundation, just like this film kind of lays on me. Is I think maybe this net organically instilled to me growing up, because I watch this a lot and it really relates a lot to just this feeling of always wanting to be in colors, but realizing there's a sense of isolation. Again, Jack Black's like a crazy man, so it's like looking at how he impacts everybody, and it's just positively ultimately, without it being too overbearingly awkward. Like once they get to the meat of it, it's like okay, like literally everyone's just like okay, like this is pretty cool actually. This is like almost an experimental way of teaching in a sense, like opening the kids to a more open. It's like the Velvet Underground walking into a school basically, and kind of laying out something original. It's interesting. So yeah, I highly recommend this film to everybody. This film's awesome. I mean, all ages can see this. So this is, I think, the modern. If you're like if you're just there's any sense of just desire or love for music in general, I think this is a film of perfection at capturing just a good-hearted, spirited over just being too overbearingly serious about it. I literally, and that's my guilty. I'm guilty of being too serious. I see the line. I'm like, I don't want to be like. There's a line where you don't want it to be that serious, because I think the foundation of leaving a positive influence on others consists in being able to lighten up. Literally, I've realized best moments, most intelligent, leaders I've met, they're funny. Typically, they kind of lure me in with some good humor. And I realized through my search, like I get serious. So this is interesting. A perfect film at capturing something very light enough. And Jack Black's perfect at capturing this. Again, feels like he's born for this kind of role. Considering the madness of Jack Torrance in The Shining into something completely awkward and social, but it ends up being lighthearted and feel good. That's the magic of Richard Linklater. That's the magic of Jack Black. That's School of Rock. I highly recommend this film.